Hi, I'm Bradley Seymour and I play StarCraft 2 under the alias tgun.
My name is Z-Ray Wang. I'm also known as Immunity's Light.
My name's David Rossi and I took that as my nickname as well. I go under the ID Rossi.
I started playing StarCraft around beta phase 10, which is roughly 2 weeks before release.
Since about September of 2010, so around about 2 years.
I've been playing ever since the game came out, been playing more and more competitively as time's gone on.
When StarCraft 2 came out, I think I wasn't planning on getting into like a competitive esport, but over time I played more and more and I got more and more into it.
I got into esports back in the days when, like every other boy, I was playing games with my friends, and naturally we were competitive with each other, so we played, and I just happened to be one of the guys who are more committed. So I tend to become the best with my friends, and then you move on to find more challenges.
I really got into the game through Husky StarCraft, through his YouTube channel and through watching a lot of competitive games there.
I played Zerg in StarCraft 2 because of my friend. When I started playing, I was Terran, and he was a Zerg, and we played 2v2s a lot, and he'd always complain that Zerg was impossible to win with, and it was underpowered. So I switched to Zerg, and that was basically it. I looked up to people like Hydra, and I ended up playing him very early on, and I was like, man, you're the reason I'm playing Zerg, yeah. And he was like, okay. He didn't care.
The reason I chose to play Protoss is because they're pretty. That's all. Because they have lasers and, you know, they have capital ships. And they just look aesthetically good.
I have a very love-hate relationship with StarCraft 2 right now, specifically with the TVZ matchup. It's a very tough matchup at the moment, and it's still the one most Terran players love to practice the most. We love playing the matchup as it's very fun, but it's also incredibly stressful.
My most hated matchup in StarCraft 2 right now would be probably Protoss versus Zerg. It's simply because there's so much Zerg players in our region, and the only players that you find difficult versing is Zerg. But I don't really find Zerg to be like overpowered or anything. It's just everywhere, the only people who are beating me on the server is Zerg, and just develop a hatred for them.
My biggest highlight so far was when I went to the Philippines. Even though it's not a well-recognised tournament, I still went to the PPSL, which was a IPL qualifier. Got to meet a lot of amazing people, got out of groups there. It was a really fun tournament, and yeah, I met a lot of amazing players like MKP and a lot of amazing people.
My favourite moment today would definitely be WCS. That was a time where the people of StarCraft eSports in general in Australia really came together and put on a show for the rest of the world, and that was really awesome for me.
So far, going over to Korea, going over to America for 2 MLGs, winning the Aces tournament, obviously. I placed 3rd at GESC, I've placed top 8 at both ACLs I've went to, and I've placed 3rd at the recent WCS Oceania.
There's a lot of things I'm looking forward to in Heart of Storm. I'm looking forward to how the gameplay changes. I'm really looking forward to how Terran play styles change. And I'm looking forward to seeing how new players come up and current players go down. It's going to be really exciting to see how it changes everything.
The thing I'm looking forward about Heart of Storm most is actually the storyline, because I was a really big StarCraft story person. I was really into the story. I loved Reyna. He has the same name as me.
I haven't really looked at Heart of the Swarm. It's so far off in the distance that a lot of stuff's going to be changed. It's just not going to come out as it is. Trying to expect a unit to come out in its current iteration is probably just a dream, really. Theory crafting or looking at something isn't... I don't want to say it's not a good use of my time, but I'd rather spend it practicing.
Zerg right now is pretty boring. You kind of have a mix of Roach Ling and then you throw in Infestors, and that's about it. And you know, they have for Zerg players, it's kind of you're doing the same thing every game, and it's not really that fun. So I think bringing in more units is definitely good for a strategy-based game where you're supposed to be counter-thinking your opponents, but right now we just don't really have that many pieces. So Heart of Storm definitely will bring in a lot of these added new pieces.
I don't really have a rival in StarCraft 2. Everyone's friends with everyone. The go-to answer would be Moonglade because everyone wants to beat him. But I have the most fun playing against Light. I just have lots of fun games against him. And Iagas, but more or less most fun against Light. I think if you look at our WCS Oceania and Australia matches, you'll see that we're pretty friendly. We have a lot of fun. The games are usually actually pretty interesting too.
Previously, I would have said I was a rival with I Am Light, as we've always been very close competitors. But as of right now, I don't really have any competitors. I see everyone as equals that I should be able to beat.
Biggest rivals I have in StarCraft 2 is definitely with my teammate Mafia. We used to be in the same clan, and basically we were like two people who were in the same clan. We were pretty good, but we were nowhere near the top. And us two, we were like the hardest workers. We weren't even the aces of our team. We were just like pretty good players on our team. And then there came a time where we just started getting out on top of everybody. And then he took a kind of a break from the game. And in that period, I became one of the best players on the server. That's when NRG happened. Then when he came back, he went to play World of Warcraft, which is okay. So that kind of takes a lot of time. And then when he came back, he couldn't. It took him some time to get better. Soon enough, he just overlapped me because he just put in way more effort.
If you're looking into getting into StarCraft 2 competitively, there's a lot of different ways you can go about this. I recommend playing the game first of all and seeing how you go. And there's always lots of different things you can do to improve. You watch streams, you review your replays, but the main thing is just to keep playing and enjoying yourself. And the more you enjoy, the more you understand the scene and the more you realise yourself the ways you can go about improving.
Whenever I talk to someone that doesn't know what it is, I try and get them into it gradually. Maybe I'll show them like a game of someone playing on YouTube, maybe a tutorial, maybe the Blizzard website, maybe Team Liquid, and then, you know, after a week, 2 weeks, I'll ask them more about it. They'll ask me more about it, and they'll just get slightly more and more interested. I've never had someone come back and just go, just flat out, this is really silly. They're always really interested. They always want to know more about it because it's a completely foreign concept.
Biggest advice I can give to anyone who wants to get into eSport in general is find the game that really suits you, because StarCraft 2 is not really suited for everybody. It's suited for people who have a lot of time on their hands and really have a competitive nature. So you're not just playing because you want to spend a good few hours playing with your friends. You actually you're a chess player who really wants to actually just show the world like you're smarter than the other guy.
My goal is not to make money or anything. I really just want to travel out of this. I really enjoy traveling and attending events, meeting a lot of new people.
I don't really see myself taking gaming more professionally, like taking another step, because I just don't think that is for me generally. But I can see that other people are trying to do that, and I really applaud them for doing that.
In the future, I'd like to get back to MLG or Korea, both of which I can't really plan right now. And they're really hard to plan because I don't want to stay over there for a really, really long time. But I do want to get back over because in Korea, it's amazing. You sit there and you live the game. Whereas over here, you know, you play 8 hours, you practice a lot, but at the end of the day, you can still just, you know, go out and go to the park or go out and go watch a movie. In Korea, it's a lot harder because it's a huge culture shock. In America, MLGs are there's no experience like it. You walk in, you've got thousands upon thousands of spectators, a huge tournament, pretty much all the best players in the world there. It's just amazing.